Hey Meno Warriors, it's Kate and welcome to my channel where I share weekly videos with you all about menopause every single Monday. If you've not yet subscribed, make sure that you do. If you're watching this on social media, make sure to follow so that you don't miss any future menopause related posts, videos, etc, etc. Today I'm actually going to be talking about menopausal hair loss. And also tying that in with COVID, because since COVID, and particularly for ladies who have got long COVID and who are also menopausal, they are seeing a much greater incidence of hair loss, whether that's male pattern baldness. It's actually called, there's a type called female pattern baldness, but essentially it mirrors what men have. So, you know, the thinning here, thinning up here, thinning here, and it's separate to alopecia. Alopecia is when it gets patchy and falls out in patches. Female pattern baldness is a thinning, sort of less length of hair. The hair becomes much sort of weaker, and in some cases can just, you know, completely go. Firstly, it's important to mention that if you are getting hair loss, get your thyroid levels checked and also get your iron levels checked, because both of those can actually be why you are getting loss of hair. There are other reasons why that you might be getting loss of hair as well. It could be genetic. If you have a family history of thinning hair, it could be that that is causing your hair loss. Obviously, treatments, various chemicals, chemotherapy can cause hair loss. With that sort of thing, hopefully the hair should regrow once you've finished your treatment. With long COVID, because of that elevated level of inflammation in the body, because the body still isn't quite back to its normal healthy self, our hair is not necessary. Yes, a lot of our femininity is tied in with how our hair looks, and whether you like scruffy hair or whether you have a more coiffed approach to life. When you no longer have that hair, or when you're noticing that it's starting to thin significantly, it can have a really bad impact on how you just feel, you know, your confidence and your level of self-esteem. And you know, when, especially during lockdown, we were all sort of hidden in our homes and it didn't really matter if you were going out, but now people are freer again and we're allowed to get out and about. It's nice if you can feel confident that, you know, you've got your makeup on, you've maybe got a nice dress or a nice outfit on. And if you're lacking in confidence in your hair, it can have a really big knock-on effect to you. So it's really important from a psychological point of view that you are able to feel in control to some degree of how to maybe encourage better hair growth. So I will go through some solutions at the end of this as well. So hang on in there. I'm going to keep this as short and as succinct as possible. So firstly, if you have thinning, make sure you get your thyroid checked, make sure you get your iron levels checked. Hair thinning can also be a result of lifestyle. Like I said, it can be genetics. And as we go through the menopause, around about 2/3 of women report hair thinning as they go through the menopause. Estrogen is good for our hair. So when our estrogen levels are falling, technically our hair does get thinner. You can also be careful with the products that you use on your hair. Make sure you're not using harsh chemicals. You know, if you get your hair treated, make sure you're getting it done probably professionally. I treat my own hair at home and I follow very strict guidelines from hairdressers with what I do with my hair. Since COVID, I cut my own. It might be obvious. And I tone it down myself because in the summer it goes really bright, and I do lift it myself as well. So, but I do all that at home with following strict guidelines. So make sure if you are going out and getting your hair sorted, that you are going to either somebody professional that will use the right kind of things on your hair, so you're not making it too brittle, you're not breaking it, and also that your hair care treatment strategy is good. I use Olaplex. A lot of people have, I think, getting into Olaplex. It actually penetrates the hair shaft, so it sort of repairs it from the inside out if it's weakened or brittle or dry, you know, that sort of thing. I really like it. It is a bit more pricey than the shop bought stuff, but I used to wash my hair every single day. I try and wash it every third day now. Some days it's every other day, but then, you know, my sort of justification is, well, Olaplex is not hugely expensive, but it, you know, if you're washing it every third day, you can actually afford something a bit more expensive, and that's, more importantly, that's going to be better for your hair. We have this philosophy that cheap is best. Well, you pay for what you get, and I'm a big believer in that. And you know, some of the supplements that I use on a daily basis, they're not the cheapest, but they're really healthy. They're plant-based, and they are proven to do what they do really, really well with no horrid side effects. So I am a great believer in you pay for what you get. So Olaplex is what I use, and I try not to style my hair. It might be fairly obvious as well. Obviously, if I'm going out, I might style it, but otherwise I try and let it dry naturally. And I do use, you know, protective oils, because I have got thinnish hair. When I was younger, when my mum used to have really, really long hair, and mum would plait my plaits, and they were so thick they'd stick out. I looked like Pippi Longhouse, if you can remember back to those days. And then as I got older, it just got thinner. And in fact, now look, you can see here, it's actually looking quite thin there at the front. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, I just think, well, just the way it is. But if it got any thinner, it probably would start to bother me. So although I'm not doing any of the things that I'm going to recommend today, I've done a lot of research on them, and it's made me think I'm actually going to try one or two of the things that I am going to suggest to you. So, you know, this is I will be a work in progress from January 2023. We'll see what it looks like in July 2023, and I might have like a massive bush of hair. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. This is the beginning of it. So yeah, you can see. And here also, I'm relatively, this has grown back quite a lot actually since I had my babies. When I had the kids, this area here really got quite thin. I mean, my dad, he was bald by the age of about 21. He had a little bit around the base, but not an awful lot. So I think I probably got dad's genetics as far as my hair goes. But this area here, I would really like that to look a little bit thicker. So I haven't got mousse or anything in it. I haven't backcombed it or tried to make it look thicker yet. So this is the real deal. So we'll see what it looks like in July, because I'm going to start some of the things that I'm going to suggest today to you. So obviously lifestyle is important. Exercise is important, because exercise improves our blood flow, and you know, our follicles need feeding. So when they're in the skull, they need, like every cell of the body, like our skin, everything needs to be fed by a healthy blood supply, because blood is what delivers the oxygen and the nutrients around the body. And obviously lymph, when you're exercising, takes away the toxins out of our bodies. Stress has a major impact on our hair. And like I was just saying a little bit earlier on, we don't need hair to survive. So our hair and our skin is a really good indication of what's going on in the inside. So if your skin is getting worse, if your hair is suddenly having problems with it, it could be an indication of something going on inside internally. Low-grade inflammation, high-grade inflammation, long COVID, like I said, thyroid and iron levels, that sort of thing. And of course, stress. Stress raises our insulin levels. Insulin is one of our fat storing hormones, and raised insulin levels also have a negative impact on how well our hair grows. So I'll be really interested, please drop below what, in the comments below, are you noticing, since you've gone through the menopause, thinning in your hair? Are you noticing that you've got more hair in the plug hole after when you clean out your shower base or the bath plug? It'd be really interesting to hear what your experience of your hair is. This is one of the things I get requested a lot, is talking about hair loss. So it's something I wanted to cover, and also having done quite a bit of research for this, which was quite exciting, it's made me think, right, I'm going to start probably one of the options I'm going to share, and then I will then follow up with that possibly in July with the second option. I will see. I will I will let you know. So the things I'm going to tell you now are, as well as eating things like lots of omega-3s, healthy fatty acids, I think if you're following me, you probably have a fairly healthy lifestyle already. So do I. I take collagen. I think it's really good for my bones and my joints. Technically, it should be good for my hair. I mean, maybe if I didn't have a healthy lifestyle, I would have worse hair than I have got. Who knows? I exercise regularly. I take adaptogen herbs every day. Those are really good for your hair and skin. Notably, actually, one lady that I know very well, she used to spend thousands of pounds at Harley Street. Harley, isn't it? I nearly said Harley Street, for her acne. She takes the same adaptogen herbs that I take daily, and her skin has completely recovered. She looks amazing. So it does go to show that what we put in here can have a positive or a negative impact on what's going on up on top and also around our body. So the treatments, assuming you've got all the other bits sorted, you're not too stressy and you're looking after your lifestyle. So the first of the two things that I'm going to mention to you is it's the generic brand is Rogaine. It's called minoxidil, and it's an over-the-counter treatment. Now, the research I've done, it comes in 2% formula and a 5% formula as a liquid dropper. It also comes in a foam formulation as well. And the idea is that you put it on your head, the 2% you drop it onto your scalp, or in the bits where you want to grow thicker. You use that twice a day, and the 5% you use it once a day. Obviously, when you stop, or if you stop using these things, the regrowth will then go away. But there has been there's some really good reports on how effective this minoxidil is. And I think because it's pretty good value, you can get it in your local drugstore probably. I think I might start with that first, depending on how I get on with it. Some of the reports I was reading, they say, yeah, it's effective, but it makes people's hair feel pretty gunky. And the foam can be more difficult to get to the roots if you've got thicker hair up here, but you want to use it here because you're thinner here. So maybe, I think if I'm going to start to use that, I will use the liquid. And you're supposed to, like I say, 2% formulation you're supposed to use twice a day, and the 5% formulation you're supposed to use just once a day. I think I might get a bottle and see what happens. If it makes me feel like my hair's gunky, I will probably stop. The second option is a laser hairband by a company called Hair Max. And it's just full of little laser lights, and then it's got little combs that separate the hair. So you literally put it on the top, and it sort of covers all the main areas of where people struggle with thinning hair, and you use it for a few seconds every other day. And again, if you stop using it, the benefits from using it will go. However, that laser hairband is around about, I think, £700, quite a lot. But if you're already spending an awful lot of money on various things to try and improve your hair growth and they're not working, it might be worth trying. The lights, the lasers last for around 15 years, apparently, and it's covered by, I think it's a 5-month money-back guarantee. I think that is. It's best to check with the company. They also do a comb, which is like a laser comb. So, and that's around, I think that was £300, £200, £300. They've got a couple of options on the comb. So one, I think, has more lasers in it than the other. I think the basic one's about £200. And that is, you just use it for a few seconds every day or every other day, and you just move it around the areas that need that treatment. And obviously that's really easy to use. You don't have to use it for too long. You have to use it regularly, but when you're actually using it, you don't use it for too long per treatment. Maybe it's worth having a look at that. I would definitely check out their website. I'm not affiliated with anyone. This is just stuff that I've been researching, and I've seen a lot of people get really good growth with minoxidil and also this Hair Max product. There might be other products out there on the market as well. Hair Max is the only one I looked at, because I'm not going to use that yet. I think I'm going to start with the minoxidil and see what happens. But also I know that things like essential oil, thyme oil, rosemary oil, peppermint oil are also supposed to be very beneficial for your hair growth. And actually I did used to before I washed my hair, I used to put coconut oil on my scalp and rub in some thyme oil and rosemary oil. And to be quite honest, I just got bored of doing it. And it was just like, oh, I'm in a rush. I need to quickly wash my hair, and I've got to sit with this stuff on my head for a few minutes. And, it was just like, ugh. So it wasn't particularly practical. And this might be the same thing with the minoxidil if it does make your hair feel a bit yucky on top. So I don't know. I will see. If I hate the minoxidil, I might actually get the hair comb, the laser comb, and we'll see how we get on with that. So yeah, just let me know if have you tried anything? Is anything working for you in particular? And these are not foolproof treatments. They work, I think, in a lot of cases, but in some cases they're not going to work. If that were the instance, I would suggest you book an appointment with is it a trichologist that does the hair, or a dermatologist. They're also very informed with sort of hair treatments, and thinning hair, because obviously the follicle grows in our skin. And also patience is needed, because it does take a few months for you to see the effects. That's why I'm saying if I start something this month, by July we should have a pretty good idea as to whether these things are working, and I will take some before photographs. And then, yeah, just make sure you're washing it less frequently. Ideally, if you can, make sure you're using hair-friendly products that haven't got sulfates and parabens and harsh chemicals in. And just be mindful that you are a lot of the shampoos and conditioners that you buy from the supermarket, they just coat your hair in stuff. So while it might feel silkier after you've washed it and conditioned it, it's just got a coating on it. It's not actually doing anything to treat the inside of the hair, which is why I use Olaplex, because it does re-strengthen the hair. I have quite fine hair, but I used to have a lot more of it than I do. So I'm going back for bushy hair. So the other thing I would just say is, if you do use the minoxidil, make sure that you don't let it dribble, because you don't want hair growing in parts that you don't want a hairy forehead. Maybe if you have thinning eyebrows, you could use it on your eyebrows. I have no idea. Please pretend I didn't even suggest that, because that's probably not a very clever idea. I certainly would not use it on your eyelashes if you want stronger eyelashes. Just remember on that point, actually, there are eyelash serums that you can use. Again, there's a lot of really positive information out there about growing thicker, longer lashes. The serums work for eyelashes, so technically various serums might work for our hair as well. So I hope that was helpful. I'd really be interested to hear what you say about your experience of hair thinning and hopefully hair regrowth. And I hope that those two suggestions, the minoxidil and also the whatever it was called, Hair Max company, might point you in the right direction. And I will keep you updated with my hair thickening, hopefully, journey. Quite excited. Right, well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for your company. If you've got anything you'd like me to cover in a future episode, please let me know and I'll make sure to add that to my list. Take care, look after your hair, and I will see you soon.